Thank you, Morgan. Hi, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Start Canada call. I'm going to ask that if you, oh, you're muted now. Never mind. I was going to ask if you're not on mute, could you please mute yourself just to be respectful of everybody who is speaking so that we can ensure that we don't have any interference or anything like that. So again, welcome to tonight's Start Canada call. My name is Kim Drysdale. I'm coming to you from Newfoundland on the East Coast of Canada, St. John's, Newfoundland. Yeah! Special shout out to a bunch of team members I have on here for the first time. Thank you for tuning in, guys. I know it's a little bit late right here, 9:30 to 10:30. It's a bit of a late call. But welcome and thank you everyone for being here. I'd like to pour love and gratitude to all of you for taking an hour of your time to spend it with us, to expand your comfort zones, to learn new things. I think that's a really amazing thing, and we're so excited to have you here. These Start Canada calls are put on and founded by our Start Canada committee. Huge thank you to everyone on that committee. I know how much time and commitment we put into that, into events and ensuring that there's a sense of community within Canada and within our Start community. So I would like to throw a huge thank you to everyone who is on that, and a special thank you to Tina and Morgan, who are just rock stars when it comes to the Start Canada committee and really help us grow into roles of leadership. So thank you to them as well. So these calls are for you and your team. If there is anybody that you do not see that you think should be on here, take a second now to send them a quick text, give them a shout, Facebook them, and get them on here. They can come on late. That's totally fine. Just make sure that they are muted, and so we can grow this call. And this call has grown so much since January. So my heart is so full for everybody on here now. But again, if there is anybody who you think should be on here, please give them a text and let them know that we have started. So I'm just going to go over really quickly the purpose of these calls and how they work. So the purpose of these calls is to unite Start Canada people. And again, thank you so much to the committee, to Morgan and Tina for starting these, because they really have created a sense of belonging and community within the Canadian Start movement, which I think is so valuable. We get together every single Sunday night to provide tools, support, coaching, and inspiration to make sure that your belief is a 10 out of 10 in all areas and that you can feel unstoppable in sharing this incredible gift. These calls are led by people just like you, and we want to offer you this opportunity now. Specifically in the last couple of weeks, actually, we have been looking for new Start Canada committee members. So if you are looking to expand your comfort zone, step into a new role of leadership, anything like that, please, please, please give myself, Morgan, Tina, the Start Canada Facebook page a shout, and we will make sure that you come on any way you'd like. If you'd like to be a starter in the spotlight or a host, we would love to have you help us, and would love to have you do that, because it's honestly, guys, it's so much fun, and it is a bit of step outside of your comfort zone, but that is how we learn and we grow. So who we are, if you are tuning in live or tuning on the YouTube recording, we are just a fired up group of youngsters with a common vision to ignite all young people to own their lives physically and financially and live our contributions to create freedom and a lasting legacy. Who can get fired up about that? Yeah. So we are all part of a health and wellness company, but we do not make any claims to diagnose, treat, or cure any type of illness or disease. No two bodies are the same. Nobody's body is the exact same, but there is a miracle. The body is a miracle, and amazing things happen when you put superfood nutrition into it. We also do have a financial opportunity with this company, and that is what we focus on here in these calls. So you are going to be hearing some financial stories and some financial success stories. Again, results aren't necessarily, or what you're going to hear isn't necessarily typical. I feel so blessed personally to be partnered with a company that what you get out of it is really what you put in. So again, we don't make any claims on how much a person can make, but it's all about hard work and perseverance, and you're going to be hearing some amazing stories on this call, on previous calls, and in calls in the future. So at this point, I really want to just invite anybody to use the chat. So if this is your first time using Zoom, we do have a chat button down at the bottom there. So please jump on the chat, say hello. I always love seeing where everybody is from. Of course, I'm from Newfoundland, and I know we got Alexia on here from Nunavut. We always have a huge Ontario crowd. So just hop on there as well tonight. We have an amazing trainer. If you have any questions for Angie or trainer, please put them in the chat. I will be watching that as she is sharing her story later on in the call, and I will make sure that I do ask that question to her so your question can be answered. So it's really amazing. Please use the chat. It's a great way to interact with everybody. So continuing on, I really want to introduce somebody who I have had the pleasure of sort of meeting over Facebook and who's an absolute sweetheart. Our Start in the Spotlight tonight is Chelsea. So what Start in the Spotlight is it's really just an opportunity for us to get to know our Start Canada friends, family, our Start Canada family, that sounds better. And so we're all storytellers. We all have our story to tell. We all, we all have different experiences and we've all had different results. And so it gives us an opportunity to hear from each other, hear from people that might be going through the same thing that you are, have had results like you have, or maybe someone who you can't relate to, but you think that, somebody that you will meet in the future, they will be able to relate to the Starter in the Spotlight, which I think is really cool too, right? We all have our own stories to share. It also gives us as the Start Canada crew an opportunity to help out with our public speaking. And I think that that's a really valuable tool as well. So I will introduce Chelsea. She is from Oshawa, Ontario. And Chelsea, I'm going to hand it over to you, honey, and you can share your story. You got to unmute yourself first, though. There you go.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Kim, for introducing me. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about myself. I am a support worker. I work with adults who have disabilities. I met Morgan Parker through social media 2 years ago. She was doing Wellness Wednesdays at her house, which consisted of the products from Isagenix. She was taste testing them, everything. I went, got so super pumped, tried them, left, and I was like, yes, like I'm gonna get onto it, gonna get into it. 2 years later, I picked up my phone and was like, you know what, I need this. I'm 23. I struggle very big with my weight. I have since I was little. My next step would have been weight loss surgery, which was like totally scary for me. So I ended up getting my first 30-day box to my door. I was super excited. I'm now 2 months in. I'm down 21.5. My goal by July is 60, and between like September, October, I want to lose 100 and be up on that 100 club, stage with everybody else. So for me, like before I started, I was tired all the time. I was not confident within my body. And like a big thing for me is like, I want to be able to fit in a roller coaster at Wonderland without being able to be like, oh, like, I'm just going to get out, like, forget it, like, throw it away, like nothing's wrong. But deep down inside, like, that's like my biggest goal. I want to be able to get on a roller coaster and know, you know what, this is going to work for me. I'm going to be able to press that bar down and not have any issues. Ever since I've started, I have felt so welcome. Honestly, like the community of everybody is beyond amazing. People like LV and Evelyn and Robin, they are so inspiring, and like to see their stories and just to see how far they have come. You can do it. If they can do it, you can do it. There's no, like, don't set yourself back. Don't give yourself excuses. You can power through it. You guys have so much support. You guys don't understand. You can call anybody, message anybody, and they are there through anything. And I want to thank all of you guys, honestly, for the support you guys give, because if it wasn't for you guys, honestly, like, I don't know where I'd be. The support is amazing. Honestly, I want to thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you so much, girl. Oh my gosh, I love that. I had the biggest smile on my face the whole time. Absolutely, Jack. This community is magical. I heard the passion in your voice, Chelsea. I know you've been so engaging and active on social media, and I love the amount of support and motivation our community gives each other. I think that that is so incredibly unique. And I think in like today's society, it's something that sometimes we feel like we're lacking in our day to day. And I know that if I if I go for a walk and I hear something, or if I hear something on the news, the media, politics, I can always kind of get grounded back in this community. And I'm so grateful for it. And I love to hear that you are too. And you've had such amazing results. And again, a reminder that your results might not be typical, but it is, you get out what you put in. And I know that you've been so amazingly committed to the system. And I'm so excited for your future. I'm so incredibly excited. So moving on, we're going to move on to our training piece. And I'm so excited for this. I am super, super excited to introduce Angie Simmons. She is a one-star crystal executive. I've been with the company 6 years and I still read people's titles wrong. One-star crystal exec, 3-star golden circle. She's only 29 years old, which is amazing. And get this, Angie only started the business in January of 2016. She started using the products in January of 2012, but the business 2016. That is absolutely phenomenal. Angie's expecting a baby girl June 23rd. I'm so excited for you. So I will pass it over to Angie. If you want to give us a little insight, tell us a little bit about your journey with Isagenix, your success within Isagenix. And then when you're finished with your story, we're going to do a little bit of a Q&A, question and answer. So at this time, I want to ask anybody, if Angie's talking about anything and you have any questions for her, please jump on the chat. I'll be watching the chat. I have some questions myself, but if you guys have any questions as well, I'll make sure that those are asked. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Angie. It's all yours now.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much for having me tonight. I'm super excited to be here. Like Kimberly said, I came in for the products over 5 years ago. My husband, we were dating at the time. He is actually the one who signed me up. And I just gained about 15 pounds after college. I felt awful. I was exhausted. I just woke up one day and none of my clothes fit. I wasn't confident with how I looked. I just felt awful. And Kyle was just like, you need to do this thing that my mom does. Like, you're going to feel amazing. You'll lose the weight, yada, yada. So I did it. And within 2 weeks, I saw such a physical change in my body. I had energy to start working out again. My skin looked so clear. And everyone was like, oh my gosh, like, what are you doing? Like, you look so different, like so quickly. What is going on? And I always tell people, I think I heard Dr. Del Rey say this. I literally felt like I swallowed a rainbow. Like, I felt so good. I had like a flat stomach and abs that I hadn't had since college. So I felt amazing. So I was like, why would I stop using this? So from there, I switched to maintenance. I kept putting the products in my body. And within that 4-year time frame, I got really into working out again. I was always super active in college, but I got super into working out. I got really into the performance line. Kyle and I got married, so it really helped me get ready for our wedding. And then after that, I trained for a half marathon. I beat my goal time with the first time running it. And now the nutrition's really helping me stay healthy during my pregnancy. I'm really excited to look better than I ever have before once our baby girl gets here. And I'm just so thankful just for the nutrition. It's honestly been the biggest blessing in my life. So I used the products for about 4 years, and I signed up friends like here and there. My husband, he didn't really know anything about it. Like, he just signed me up. And I will say I was on his inside leg. So I wasn't accruing volume during this 4 years. There was no volume accrued. I was the only person enrolled on his inside leg. But his mother-in-law, she does the business part-time. And, she would mention it to me. I did pharmaceutical sales for about 4 years after my job after college. I had this dream of working my way up the corporate ladder, getting into medical sales, making a lot of money, all that kind of stuff. And once I got into pharmaceutical sales, did really well, but it just didn't bring any fulfillment to my heart the longer I did it. I felt like I didn't have a purpose. I was waking up every day, going to work out, hurrying home, driving across the state of Tennessee to talk to doctors and nurses who didn't want to talk to me. And I was miserable. I was so miserable. So within my second pharmaceutical sales job, I got to a point, went to church one Sunday, and just the sermon really spoke to me. And I was like, I can't live my life like this. Like, life is too short. I can't work a job that I completely hate. I would break out in hives. My manager would make me cry. It's like, I can't do this forever. Kyle and I were fighting because I was so miserable. And I was like, I have to make a change. Like at that point in time in my life, I was like, I just want to be able to work out in the afternoon. Like if I want to go on a run, I just want to be able to do that. Like that's all I want to do. I don't want to have to wake up at 5 a.m, go work out, hurry home and get ready for work. And I was like, what can I do? And then that's when I was like, oh, Isagenix. So I called my mother-in-law and I was like, I'm ready. I'm so ready. I went to Celebration. This past Celebration was my second. So I went to it before then. And I was like, I'm going to do this. I saw all these people who were just like me. And I was like, they can do it. I can do it. And from about August to January, I did nothing. I was one of those people who was getting ready to get ready. I would call my friends and say, hey, I'm going to leave my job and do Isagenix. Like I've seen all these people do this. I'm going to do this. But I didn't get into action because I was so terrified of failing. And I was so terrified of what people would think of me because in my mind, network marketing was weird. I was all about corporate America. And it got to a point, I went to like an ICU and Angelique Nori was speaking. And she was saying how when she did medical sales, she would sit in her car and like she'd have to like physically force herself to get out of the car to go into these offices. And she just felt this tug at her heart, like telling her to do Isagenix, even though she was walking away from this amazing job, like awesome compensation, all this stuff. But she just had this tug of like, I've got to do this. So I gave myself a deadline. Okay, by January, I'm going to go all in. And January of 2016, I gave my 2 weeks for my job. I'm very lucky. I don't recommend just like quitting your job unless you have financial support. Kyle and I had many goals along the way of these are the goals you've got to hit for you to be able to do this. So I gave my 2 weeks. I left my job and I started off as consultant in January. And by October, I hit 3-star golden circle. And so now I'm doing Isagenix full time and I have built a team of almost 900 people. And that's my story.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
Oh my goodness. That's awesome. So the chat was blowing up the entire time that you were speaking.
Yay.
Everybody is, having such an amazing reaction to what you're saying. Working out in the afternoon, just a little tidbit. So I actually just left my job
Yay.
3 months ago, or no, 3 weeks ago. Yeah, so that was a huge step for me. I am really lucky that I come from a nice family. My mom has a rank similar to yours, and my whole family uses Isagenix and is involved in the business. So I was really lucky I was able to do that. But people ask me all the time, like, you're so lucky, you're self-employed. What's your favorite part? I go to the gym at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
And an empty gym to me is like, it's heaven. And that is every time somebody asks me what my favorite thing about being self-employed is, yes, I don't have to wake up early in the morning unless I want to. Yes, I don't have anyone to answer to but myself, which can be kind of difficult sometimes actually.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the afternoon gym for me was like, it's heaven.
For
or
sure.
in the afternoon, which is awesome. So I'm going to start some questions for you because there's a whole bunch in the chat. Morgan asked a ton.
Okay.
Morgan's questions were similar to mine, but I'm going to start with Jacqueline. So Jack asks you, she said, just over a year is amazing to build to that level. What were some things that you did every day, no matter what, to keep that vision front and center?
I think the biggest thing that I did from the beginning is I made a decision. Like I did not want to go back to corporate America. That was not an option. There was no plan B. Like Isagenix, it had to work for me. Like, you hear Herb Cepeda or like Lynn Hagedorn will talk about like, act like your life depends on it. Like I truly was acting like my life depended on it because I was so miserable with my corporate job that I was like, I made a decision and you have to believe that you can do it. Because if you make a decision and you don't like mentally or you don't envision yourself achieving that, you're not going to achieve it. You've got to believe that you can do it. One quote that I've heard is, many people have goals and never achieve them because they never see themselves actually achieving them. So social media was how I built majority of my business being consistent on Facebook. If you post about Isagenix once a month, people are not going to see your posts. Like, you want to be consistent, but Isagenix should not be the only thing you post about. You want to, think of 5 things that are most important to you in your life. Like me, it's like my faith, my husband, my dogs, health and fitness, our daughter. And Isagenix is weaved in between that, but I'm so consistent with my posting. And then you've got to make a list. Like, just because I build it on social media, I still talk to everyone about Isagenix. I still call all my best friends and I said, I'm doing this. Like, it might not be for you, and that's totally fine, but you may know someone who this could really help. Like, will you just take a look and just like see if you know anyone who'd want to do this, or see anyone who you'd want to help. So like, literally always talking about it, and it won't be awkward. I still have best friends and bridesmaids that have never used the products, and it's never been weird because it's not for everyone, and I'm totally fine with that. So I think really making a schedule, like if you're, Susan Sly will have the 3x3x3 rule. So reaching out to 3 people a day, having 3 conversations about Isagenix a day, following up with 3 people a day, and pouring greatness into 3. So if you really want to get things going, you should try and do like 10x10x10. But I would say that's something that you definitely want to do every day.
That's awesome. Something I really like that you said, and I think that it's so refreshing to hear it, is where you said some of your best friends and your bridesmaids don't use Isagenix.
Oh yeah.
And I think that is really refreshing for people to hear, because sometimes, and I know Susan Sly talks a lot about how family's the hardest and family can be the worst to enroll, but I think sometimes we feel like, or we get this mentality that's like, it has to be everyone. And that's not the reality.
No.
And it's okay that it's not the reality. For myself, some of my best friends don't use it, and I don't see them ever enrolling, but they're also my biggest supporters.
Exactly.
Right? And they've referred so many people.
For sure. Yeah. I would say so many people that are on my team are people that are, old friends from college, or old friends from high school, or like people that I've met through Instagram, or like people that I'm not as close with. So yeah, I think your best friends and family will be the last ones to join.
Yes, absolutely. So the next question comes from Morgan, but also I had it on my list to ask too, because, and I think Jack mentioned that she was going to ask it as well, because I think it's something that, aside from the connecting, organization can be the most difficult thing. I know for myself, I'm not naturally an organized person. I have ADD, so like my mind is like jumbled, and the rest of my life feels like it is sometimes too. So how do you stay organized with your connections and your follow-ups? Is it binders, whiteboards, Excel?
Yeah. I've tried every which way of keeping track of everything. And I found that Google Sheets, or like Microsoft as well, Microsoft Excel is the best way to keep track of your contacts, because you can make it alphabetical. Because if you write it in a binder, what I found was I was always searching for names when I would like check off that I followed up with them. So if you can have it where you can make it alphabetical on your computer, that way if you're surfing on Facebook and like someone's name pops up, you can add them to your contact list. Or when you follow up with someone, like you can find them real quick and mark that you've like followed up with them. I think that's the best way. And then I tried the whiteboards, the big sticky notes. I keep track of all my cleansers their first month. So I have like a little Excel sheet, their auto ship date, when we're going to have their progress review before their auto ship call, day 1, day 2, cleanse days, all that kind of stuff, because the people within their first 30 days are gold. And then I can't remember when the reports run, but you always want to be in your back office. Like, you follow up with people that are like contacts, but you also are constantly following up with your team, the people that have fallen off. So really use all the reports and stuff that your back office has.
Awesome. That's great. I know all of us have talked about how difficult it is sometimes, and it's always good to hear what has worked for somebody, because I think something different is going to work for everybody. Like, it might not be the same thing for every person.
Right.
But it's always excellent to hear. And it kind of goes into the next question that was asked, which is basically like, what is your routine now? And what was your routine in the hard build? So what was your routine in your kind of like your first year? So what was your daily routine when you woke up in the morning? what did you do for the day? Was it different? Did you have
Yeah.
a schedule?
I woke up really early. I would wake up at like 5 or 5:30 every morning. And at that, I don't think, maybe it wasn't like that in the beginning, but I've always been, I work out. I used to work out in the morning. It's been a little bit different during pregnancy, but I'd always get my workout in the morning, but I always do my, I read my Jesus Calling every morning. I do my gratitude list. I write out my goals, what I'm grateful for. I visualize my goals. I think it's so important to really start your day in that mindset. Last year, before I got pregnant, I would always work out in the morning. I'd come home, do kind of all your admin stuff. But I mean, from up to leading up to 3-star, I would work all day. I mean, I could have gone all day, all night and been totally fine because I loved it. It was so much fun. I do think it's important to set hours. So, if you have a team and you're doing 3-way calls, maybe say from 10 to 2, I'm doing calls, maybe from 2 to 4, go out, run your errands. I think it's really important to get out of the house. Then from like 5 to 9, you're available for your team for calls or you're following up. I know Susan Sly will always recommend working in 90-minute blocks, taking a 10 to 15-minute break and going back to it. So really set a schedule. One thing that everyone has different schedules and do what works for best for you. Sometimes I would try to make other people's schedules work for me. And you just have to really do it what's best for you. Pregnancy has been a little bit different just because I've been sick the whole time. And when my daughter gets here, I'll have to be more productive in smaller chunks of time. But I think being organized and just having a set schedule of when you're going to do IPAs, when you're going to do 3-way calls, when you're Facebook, set a timer on your phone and only set it for like 15 minutes to a half hour. So you're not on Facebook for 5 hours, like looking at everyone's pages.
That's great. Actually, when I was in college, something we used to use was the app Self-Control. And it's like, if nobody has used it, it's an app where you can actually put in which websites you want to block access to. So I put in.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to download that right now.
It's phenomenal. And you can set a timer. So you can say, in 25 minutes, Facebook will be blocked for an hour.
That's so smart.
And it was pretty much the only thing that got me through my university degree, because you can get lost in the scrolling. But that's excellent. And I agree with you when you say that everybody's schedule is different. I know Peta Kelly, who as a young person, a lot of us absolutely love Peta. She does a lot of talk on play and how whatever gets you motivated. So if it's hiking, if it's running, if it's working out, if it's Jesus, if it's whatever your thing is, making sure that you incorporate that too. So that was really great to hear yours. I think it's so valuable to hear that. I have one question here. Oh, sorry. I just came through on my phone. So if you might have one, you might have many, but what was your biggest breakthrough or aha moment when you realized I can do this and I'm going to do this? So what was that moment? What did it look like? What did it feel like? If you remember that moment, or if it was sort of a series of things that led up to it?
I think it was a series of things. I mean, Isagenix is so incredibly well. My first financial goal was to make enough money to be able, because I had a company car with pharmaceutical sales for 4 years. And so I had to kiss that company car goodbye. And Kyle's mom was so nice. She let us drive her very, 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 very old car until we were able to buy another one. And I drove Kyle's car. So I think just setting off, you can't have this big massive goal and only think of that. You've got to break it up into little mini goals, or else you're going to get discouraged. So my first goal was that I had to make, I think $2,000 a month or something, or $1,000 a month, so I could get my car, which was a brand new 4Runner. And so I could pay for that and insurance and everything. And once I hit that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then just hitting the many goals along the way. And you don't build residual income overnight, but they give you so many incredible bonuses that really help support you. So just hitting those bonuses. And once I hit 3-star, sometimes when I still look back, I'm like, I don't know how the heck I did that. But I just think everything. I mean, setting those mini goals, crystal manager, crystal director, crystal executive, 1-star girl in circle, 2-star girl in circle, 3, just every milestone. I was like, this is amazing. And this is incredible. So I would say hitting all those mini goals has just been huge for me. And then looking back last year and seeing what I made was like, wow, this is crazy.
That's awesome. I invite everybody to put in the chat right now what your goals are, because I think that there's a lot of power to actually getting them out in the universe, and sort of holding yourself accountable to them. So I think it'd be really cool if everybody put in the chat what their goals were. I know like 2 years ago, I think was the first time that I had made enough to actually pay for my products. And I realized like, oh my God, I don't have to get the products that I just feel like I need. I can get the products that I want. So like, all of a sudden I was putting stuff I had never tried before in, and they weren't necessarily things that I felt like I needed. But they were just products I had always wanted. And so, getting the entire Rejuvenity line, or, getting greens and fruit and all these things, that was so valuable, not only because, I could afford them now, but also because I had reached a goal. So that absolutely, that's phenomenal. And it's such a great feeling to sort of be able to do that. So I have a couple more questions, and then we're going to move on to a different format. Okay. Again, if anybody has any questions that they'd like to ask, absolutely put it in the chat. Oh, yay. We got people saying that their goals are 3-star, crystal executive, be at the start party at celebration. Yes, absolutely. That's one of my goals too. Get your products paid for consistently, pay rent, car payment. Amazing. Yeah, these are amazing goals. And I think that, like I said, there's so much power behind them when you finally sort of see them out on a screen. You hold yourself accountable to. Lots of 3-stars. That's awesome, guys. So my next question is, anybody who knows me is going to say this is a total me question, and it is. I am personally obsessed with personal development. Mm-hmm. It has helped me so much in every area of my life, emotionally, mentally, financially, spiritually, everything. So my question for you is, what are your favorite personal development tactics, or what have you found sort of in that realm, if that's something that you go into, if you are a book reader, podcast listener, mentor, if you have a mentor, something like that?
I'm the same way. I love personal development. It's huge. I think journaling, like writing your goals, is like a huge thing to do every day. And write that you're thankful for your goal now, even if you haven't achieved it. So every goal I ever hit, I would write in my journal, I'm thankful I hit 3-star. I'm thankful I hit 2-star. I think it's really good to start off your morning. Like sometimes with personal development, people will spend like 6 hours a day listening to podcasts and be like, I'm really working on me. Like, no, the best way to like build belief is to get into action, but just spend 15 to 20 minutes a day in personal development. I personally like podcasts or YouTube videos. One thing I heard that was really helpful is like, listen to the same video or podcast every day for this same week, because you're going to take in it so much more than like listening to 5 different podcasts every day. I'm one that like, if I listen to one, I'll write down notes because it helps me remember it. I've been really, really obsessed with Tony Robbins, but I think it's helpful to listen to, pick like 1 or 2 Isagenix leaders that you feel like you really align with, and find every YouTube video, every podcast they've ever done, and just listen to that all the time. I listened to like every Susan Sly podcast ever, and I would listen to it when I ran, when I worked out, all that stuff. And I think that really helps you able to speak like they speak and have that confidence. And when people are like, how are you able to talk like that? I'm like, I listen to like, you just have to immerse yourself in it. And one thing lately that I've been doing too is like just really researching generic network marketing. Like it's so powerful when you really do it, just network marketing in general, and like what it can do for people. It's huge. And those Tuesday night start calls, like get on those, because those are so powerful.
Awesome. I love it. I wasn't really a huge Tony Robbins fan. My partner is. She's in love with Tony Robbins because He swears and
I
he's
didn't know
super
who he
raw.
was until Isagenix. Like I
Really?
recently just found out who he is and I'm obsessed with him.
Yeah, my partner loves him, and now it's like I'm so excited for Vegas to see him.
Yeah, he's incredible.
And Susan Sly is just like, as soon as you see Susan Sly speak, if anybody hasn't seen Susan Sly speak at a conference or one of our events, as soon as you hear her, she's going to be your favorite person because she's absolutely a powerhouse. She's phenomenal. She has an amazing story. She has so much love for her family, and her values are so strong. It's so inspiring. All right. So we're putting you on the spot now. We are going to do something that's kind of new to the Start Canada calls, and they're my favorite part. So we're going to do rapid fire questions. Okay. So they are timed. Morgan's going to time. Morgan, you here somewhere? He's here. I'm trying to, oh wait, right. Morgan's Tina. Cool. So Morgan, so good. Morgan's up them. So I'm going to ask you, how many questions we got? We got 15 questions.
Okay.
We got a couple of different categories, and Renee Trask and Alvy Shepard have set the record for fastest answers. So that is who you guys. Although Alvy, if I remember, didn't do super great on the latter categories, got a lot of them wrong. And so we were a little bit angry, not actually, but because of the latter bit is Canadian knowledge. So let's start. You ready, Morgan? All right. You ready, Angie?
Yeah.
You good? All right. Ready? Do you want me to just ask and you're going to start the timer, Morgan? Yeah? Okay. First question. Favorite book?
How to Break the Habit of Being Yourself.
Favorite product?
E-shots.
Least favorite product?
Isosnacks.
Favorite choice of exercise?
High intensity workouts.
Oh, I hate that. If you were doing Isagenix, what would you be doing for your dream job?
Anything in fitness.
Your favorite gym tune?
Rap. Oh gosh, I like any kind of rap music. I just love rap music. So anything that's rap, I can listen to and work out to.
I feel like everybody said that. Favorite cheat meal or your favorite food?
Pizza.
I think everyone said that too. One word to sum up your Isagenix journey.
Gross.
Favorite shake or shake combo?
Dairy-free chocolate. I have it every single morning.
Okay. So second bit, Canadian question. What's our capital?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Who's the Prime Minister of Canada?
I don't know. My husband's actually half Canadian. I don't know any of this.
You don't know the Prime Minister?
No.
Oh my God,
I'm pregnant. I have pregnancy brain.
Okay. What is the $1 coin called?
I don't know. I'm not Canadian. I don't know this stuff.
And so you probably don't know the animal that's on that coin.
No clue.
Okay. Canadian Throwdown, Drake or Justin Bieber?
Drake.
Okay. If Isagenix Canada released a maple syrup shake, would you drink it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. What are we at, Morgan? I don't know. 146.99. I don't even know the other time. So maybe you won. I'm not really sure, except for I don't know about this whole no Canada. Okay, so our Prime Minister is Justin Trudeau, and he's been known as like the most good looking actor.
Oh, really?
Look up pictures of the Canadian Prime Minister because politics aside, he is known to be one of some people on the show like, no, he's not. But he is one of the better looking
I'll look him up.
Political dudes around. Anyways, all right, well, homework maybe is to research. All right, awesome. I'm going to ask you one more question.
Yes.
To wrap up. And I love this question, but what would you say as sort of your wrap up to the Start community, or what would you say to like your 20-year-old or 25-year-old self about starting your Isagenix journey?
Don't care what other people think. And really just be your authentic self. I mean, we only have like one life to live, and I just think that life is too short. So like, just figure out what you want in life. Like, you don't, like, Isagenix can be the vehicle to get you to whatever your dream is. And just figure out what you want, make a decision, and go for it. And getting into action is the most powerful thing that you can do. And who cares what people think or what they say? Because at the end of the day, like, they don't pay your bills, and you shouldn't surround yourself with people who are going to bring you down. Like, it's just not important.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Angie. We're so excited
You're
to have you
welcome.
here.
Thank you. I'm sorry I bombed the Canadian part. Pregnancy brain is a thing. If anyone is on here is going to be pregnant at some point in the future.
I've heard that. I am not planning on being pregnant in the future. Well, eventually, not right now, but in a couple of years. And I'm sure
it is a real thing.
Awesome. So I'm going to do I have one last favor to ask everyone before we start to wrap up. We do this every couple calls. I know half of our country rained, poured today. And I know that there's some things in the country that are going on that aren't the greatest. And I know for some people, they didn't have the best week. I know the thoughts go to everyone that's affected by the flooding right now. I know there's a lot of natural disasters happening. So my heart and soul goes out to you guys. But Morgan had a great suggestion. I'd like everybody right now to take out your phone. So I'd like everybody to take your phone out. And I would like everybody to send at least one to three gratitude texts to somebody in your phone list. So that can be a friend, a family member, maybe somebody you haven't talked to in a while. But I'd really like everybody right now. We're going to take 2-minute break. Well, we're all going to stay on here still. I'm just going to stop talking for 2 minutes. But I'd like to take those 2 minutes, and I'd like everybody just to send a gratitude text to somebody in their life that's important to them. And I'd like you to tell them why they're important to you. So I'm just going to mute myself for 2 minutes, then we'll jump back on and we'll do a quick wrap up. Okay, everyone? So everybody get your phone out and do that. All right, awesome, guys. We'll take another 10 seconds and then we will wrap up this amazing call. All right, everyone. Morgan, have you figured out how to do the screenshot? Yes. Okay. All right, everyone.
I Googled it.
All right, perfect. Thank God for Google. Basically taught me how to cook. So if anybody has never been on this call before, at this point, we're going to ask you to take yourself off the stop video if you are wearing clothes or you are appropriate. If you're not, don't take yourself off. But we're going to get a screenshot, and the screenshot's going to go on as the cover photo on the YouTube recording of this call. So everybody take yourself off video. Oh, look at all the faces popping up.
No, I love it.
Right.
I love the amount of people that jump off when they feel like they have to show their face. Okay, ready? Ready? 3, 2, 1. Thank you, Google. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, so much for being on this call. I really appreciate it. Usually at this point in time, I would give shout outs to anybody or any places that are holding events. I know the Start Canada Vision Tour just ended. I saw amazing, unfortunately I didn't have access to one out here on this island on the East Coast. However, I saw amazing pictures and Snapchats from a lot of the Vision Tour spots that happened across the country. And I know a lot of people on this call had gone to one, which is phenomenal. I'm so excited for. If there is anybody who has an event coming up, feel free to put it in the chat. I know Peterborough, you guys have events fairly often. I know Toronto has weekly events. And I'm looking at here, who's on here. Oh, here we go. Perfect. All right. So if there's any events that you can think of, put them on. Tuesday night in Peterborough, Oshawa, May 25th. That's amazing, guys. If you ever want to promote your events on the Start Canada page, please do that as well. Events are May 16th, Peterborough Start Night. Amazing. Guys, if you have never been to an event, please grab some friends and go. Events are so important in not only retaining people and enrolling people and income producing activities, they're also so incredibly important to get that community. And, you know, I don't think anybody really ever says to themselves, like, no, I don't want any more friends. I have enough now. But even if you do say that to yourself, the people in Isagenix are some of the most amazing people I've ever met. I'm lucky enough that I have people in Isagenix that are pretty much my family now, which I'm so incredibly grateful for. And events really, really started that. So yeah, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody for taking an hour out of their busy weekend and for jumping on this call with us. Thank you, Morgan and Tina, so much again for putting this together. Morgan for being Tina tonight and figuring out how to screenshot and work soon. Thank you so much to Chelsea for stepping outside your comfort zone, sharing your amazing results with us, as well as your story. And thank you again, Angie, for taking your valuable time out of your schedule to hang out with us and answer some questions for us. It was so awesome to hear, as well as thank you again to all of you for jumping on this call. So again, we will see everyone hopefully next Sunday. I had to think what day it was. It's almost time for me to go to bed. Next Sunday night, again, every Sunday night we are here. Please give us a like on the Start Canada Facebook. And one more time, we are looking for new Start Canada committee members. So if you are looking to jump into a role of leadership, please give myself a shout, Morgan a shout, or write it on the Facebook page after you give us a follow. So thank you again, everybody, and we will see you next week.